Hello viewers, welcome to Janshakti Network. Today, we shall try and decode the reason or reasons behind the backbreaking inflation and what the government can do to provide relief to the Aam Aadmi. Skyrocketing prices of household items like food grains, vegetables, edible oil, cooking gas, and medicines have been the cause of constant worry of the poor, the lower, and the middle income group. Post the COVID-19 pandemic and the unplanned lockdown, lakhs of people all across the country have lost their jobs. Some found alternative gainful employment, but most of them did not. With an unprecedented rise in unemployment and no regular income, the less and underprivileged have their backs broken with mounting inflation. Prices usually increase either because of excess demand in the market or because of rise in the cost of production. Poor people of our country lost their purchasing power due to loss of earnings as a combined effect of demonetization, introduction of GST, and unplanned execution of lockdown. Inflation has been primarily driven by supply side factors, rising commodity and energy prices. If in response to the rise in prices, the workers were able to earn higher wages, then part of the burden on the working class could have lessened. But if the workers are not able to collectively bargain against capital, then the burden of higher prices are completely shifted to the working people. In the case of India, more than 90% of the workers are unprotected from market-related risks. Hardly any institutional mechanism for collective bargain exists for the vast majority of the working people, and since, in many cases, producers enjoy monopoly power over the market, the larger part of the burden gets shifted to the common people. During the beginning of the last decade, the common argument put forward by the central government for the skyward inflation was to attribute the crisis to the laboring poor themselves. The main argument on inflation states that it is due to the large fiscal deficit which the government has been running, and this in turn is due to the wastefulness of the government in operating a whole range of populist schemes, of which the MGNREGA is the most prominent. To control inflation, the argument states it is important to prune such populism, which means curtailing the scope of MGNREGA. Way back in December 2014, RSS's Swarajya had published an article titled, "When Will We Throw Out MGNREGA?" Recently released data of household consumer expenditure for 2023 to 24 shows that the average monthly spending of a four-member family would be only rupees 8,079 in rural areas and rupees 14,528 in urban areas. This is due to record unemployment, meager earnings, and backbreaking prices of daily use. It is not just in India that food prices are rising sharply. This is a global phenomena characterizing not just the third world, but even the advanced capitalist countries. The usual explanation is the scarcity caused by the Ukraine war. But while the Ukraine war can in principle be such a cause of inflation by generating scarcity, the current rise in food prices is, if at all, more in anticipation of such a scarcity than a result of any actual scarcity. There is plenty of evidence from all over the world which shows that even before any actual scarcity has occurred, profit margins have increased in the retail food sector, which indicates a jacking up of prices by monopolists in anticipation of scarcity. The same is true in India, because of which many are talking about inflationary expectations being at play, which drive up actual prices because of a rise in expected prices. One way of controlling inflation is to widen the reach of the public distribution system so that the government stocks are not poured out in the open market but are distributed among the consumers. so that speculators cannot have access to these stocks. The double whammy of unemployment and food inflation has led to the rise in malnutrition and stunted growth among children. In the year 2024, India ranked 105 in the Global Hunger Index among a total of 127 countries. Food inflation significantly contributes to malnutrition, particularly in low and middle income families, by making nutritious food less affordable for vulnerable population.
যে হারে চালের দাম বাড়ছে তাতে সাধারণ মানুষ তাদের চাল কেনা খুব কষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে।
This can lead to reduced food consumption, lower dietary diversity, and increased risks of wasting and stunting, especially in children. Children are particularly vulnerable to the negative effects of food inflation. They are more likely to experience stunting, that is, low height for age, and wasting, which means low weight for height due to inadequate nutrition during pregnancy and infancy. So, we may conclude by saying that both the state and the central governments must address the issue of food inflation to prevent working class families to fall into the trap of loans to meet their daily needs and also to ensure healthy citizens for the country.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to stay updated with the latest incidents. Hit the bell icon to never miss an update. We will see you next time with more news that matters. Stay informed, stay safe.